already did. If I didn't, I would have reported you to HR already, back when they first hired you. Because that breath is a fucking crime.
You know you love me. You know you love me and my stank-ass coffee.
Marcus blows a kiss jokingly at Becky and sits at a news desk, joining her. Becky rolls her eyes and laughs. In a few minutes, Becky and Marcus will be delivering the news to the city of Toronto.
I heard you fucked Sean, the cameraman, this weekend.
Becky smirks and winks at Sean, who's behind the camera near the teleprompter.
Actually, some woman wanted to talk to you today. I think she was a crackhead because who else would want to sleep with you?
Oh, who?
The lady next door, the one who buys ads for her fortune-telling business.
You're on air in 30 seconds.
Camera pans to the teleprompter, which counts down from 30. Becky and Marcus look towards the teleprompter. Marcus and Becky sit up straight and face towards the camera with serious expressions.
Good morning, Toronto. I'm Becky Beeler.
And I'm Marcus Sands.
Today marks the second day Justin Trudeau has been on his trip to France to discuss economic trade ideas with President Emmanuel Macron. The talks have been going well, and according to local news agencies in France, Trudeau was well received and was given a warm welcome by the French government.
In other news closer to home, an Air Canada flight heading to New York from Toronto has slid off the runway at JFK International. No deaths were reported, and only minor injuries were reported at to the local authorities.
COVID cases are on the decline, and booster shots are getting into the arms of the city's most vulnerable. Right in time as the mask mandate is lifted.
Today also marks the start of TIFF. Celebrities and film lovers will flock there, hopefully, since TIFF was canceled for in-person events last year, despite the warning of heavy rain today.
Let's hope it's not raining too much since the forecast calls for rain today.
Sadly, it's raining cats and dogs this morning, so let's bring it to our meteorologist, Chrissy, to give us more information.
Camera focuses away from Becky and Marcus. The camera goes to Chrissy, who is in front of a map of Ontario with weather patterns on it.
Good morning, Marcus and Becky. The weather is calling for heavy rain today, so it's best to pack an umbrella and boots.
Chrissy grabs her ears. She listens to the instructions on the mic in her ear.
The rain should clear up later this. It seems we have some breaking news. Back to you, Becky.
The teleprompter reads, "The city reports falling cats and dogs from the sky. Residents should remain inside."
Oh my god.
We have our field reporter, Larry Papaya, on the scene giving us more information.
Exterior, City Street Day. Larry Papaya, a news reporter for CV24, is standing outside trying to avoid the falling cats and dogs. The animals splatter on the floor. The camera is shaking as we try to focus on Larry.
As you can see, it's quite a graphic scene outside. I don't know what's going on.
A cat lands on Harry's head and begins attacking him and scratching his face. After that, we go back to Becky and Marcus in the newsroom. They both have terrified facial expressions. Interior newsroom, moments later. The teleprompter reads, "Remain calm and read the following below as if nothing has happened. We do not want people to panic."
In other news, there's... Oh, what the fuck? How are we supposed to be normal when a fucking cat fell from the sky?
You're on air, Becky. Compose yourself.
You shut up! This is all your fault! What? That crazy fortune teller said that whatever you say on air comes true. I should have told you that earlier, but I thought she was just a crackhead or something. Security had to escort her out.
Becky, do you know how crazy you're sounding right now?
Crazy? A bunch of fucking cats and dogs fell out of the sky! I think all logic left the chat. Once you said it would just rain cats and dogs, it did. Just say it stopped raining or something.
The focus shifts to other parts of the newsroom. All the other staff look concerned and are standing still in their spots.
It stopped raining cats and dogs as of now.
Marcus looks at Becky with pleading eyes. He's visually shaken.
I'm going to check with Larry. I'm going to see if the nightmare outside is stopped. Larry, are you alright? Can you hear us? Is everything stopped?
Exterior, city street, moments later. Larry has scratches all over his face. He's bleeding from most parts of his body and most of the street is covered in blood.
It stopped. Thank God it stopped. Back to you, Becky. And I quit. Who the hell needed me to check if it was raining fucking animals outside? Look out the windows, you morons. Get off.
Camera cuts and we see a bunch of colors and a static sound when a lost connection sounds. Interior newsroom continuous.
Oh my god. That lady was right. I don't know what...
Becky, can you calm yourself down? You know, relax. We've both been working here for years. Nothing like this has ever happened.
No, but that lady came in today saying you were cursed. I swear, I thought she was on crack.
Becky begins to cry. Marcus tries to come closer to her in order to comfort her.
Don't you dare touch me! I don't trust you!
Can you hear how how mental you sound?
Say something else on air. Something that would be impossible to happen. I need to know for sure.
Fine. Are we on air at least? Okay. Like you said, it only happens when we're on air, right?
Yup, it's surprising they didn't cut the cameras after this shit show.
The CN tower just disappeared today, as if it just puffed into thin air.
Becky looks at Marcus suspiciously, sizing him up.
What? What? There's no way a whole building could just disappear out of nowhere.
We pan to the city of Toronto skyline with the CN Tower missing from it. People scream in the background. Exterior. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Did the CN Tower just disappear? This was worth shit.
We pan to a random TV with Marcus and Becky on it, tuned into channel CB24. At the bottom where emergency alerts go, it reads CN Tower disappears into thin air. Who is responsible? Interior newsroom moments later. Camera faces teleprompter which reads, compose yourself. Read the following calmly. People must remain calm. Marcus reads the following. Marcus gulps and reads the text that appears on the teleprompter.
Residents of Toronto, the following events today were relating to the TIFF Festival. They were trying to try some special effects, but did not give us warning, causing chaos and panic. Do not be alarmed.
Becky slams her fist on the news desk. The desk shakes, startling Marcus.
I call bull on that. Are we really supposed to buy into those lies?
Marcus shots Becky a death glare and mutters, we're on air. Becky rolls her eyes and nods towards Sean.
Don't cut the cameras. Dead ass, it's all a lie.
Stop, you're just embarrassing us. You're fired.
There's some supernatural shit going on. I'm not shutting up. Say another thing. Like you turned into a monkey or something.
Becky, just shut up.
No, I won't shut up until you say another thing on air. You're fucking cursed.
In today's news, Becky will seal her mouth forever.
Becky lips fuse together, leaving her without a mouth. Marcus looks over in horror, realizing what he has done.
I'm so sorry, I didn't mean.
Sean, the cameraman, is visually angry behind the camera. He clenches his fists, and his face is red. He is also shaking with fear.
Undo whatever you did.
I didn't mean to hurt her. I'm a monster. I'm sorry.
Becky hits the desk with her fist. Marcus looks at her, and she gestures towards the camera. Marcus sits up straighter and tries to stop looking like he's about to cry. Marcus turns towards the camera and nods, knowing what to do.
In other news, the CN Tower returns and Becky can open her mouth.
Becky jumps up and goes for Marcus's throat.
I told you 100 times to listen, but you never did.
Becky begins to strangle Marcus. His face begins to crimson as he struggles to speak.
I just listen. Nah, you can suck it, bitch.
You're on air, Becky.
Don't cut the cameras. I'm killing this son of a bitch.
Staff around the newsroom watch in horror and signal at Sean to finally cut the cameras on the newsroom. Marcus struggles to breathe, and slowly the life is leaving his eyes.
We're on air.
Marcus dies. And the camera turns off with rainbow colors and a static sound plays. The screen reads, no signal.
Awesome, and that was Ahmed sitting right there. Giving us all that. Perfect. Okay, so our next script is by Mikaela Cordero, sitting right here. Or you want to stand up? Yeah, stand up. So Token Asian, I do want to give, there is just a trigger warning, or if anyone needs to leave, there's mentions of assault, drugs, and also mental health breakdowns. And anything else?
DD.
Oh, and domestic violence. Yes, so just feel free to leave and have some coffee, whichever. So Token Asian, 18-year-old Marie Jane Manalo lives in Toronto with her first-generation Filipino-Canadian parents. Her first bipolar manic episode lands her in the psych ward. I'm sure you could figure that out from this section. Yeah. With the help of her best friend Naya and her psychiatrist Dr. Quartz, she must navigate her relationship with weed. Oh, and there's drug use. Did I say that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Great, so we'll get started. Thank you.
Best Buds, MJ's basement, a bungalow in Scarborough. MJ and Naya are lounging on a love seat. Both ladies are donning Baja hoodies. Lo-fi hip-hop radio beats to relax/study to quietly hums from a TV. Naya sits beside her with a bong in hand, packs a bowl of weed, and ignites it. She takes a small toke, coughs out some smoke and passes the bong to MJ, who finishes the bowl off. In a true veteran stoner fashion, MJ inhales deeply, holds the smoking for a few seconds, and exhales with ease. She sets the bong down on the coffee table in front of them.
Oh, jeez, man, easy.
I know. That shit hits hard though. Where'd you get it from?
Remember when you came to visit me at the cafe? The guy with the gold grill, gold chains, and boxy head top manning the espresso machine? His brother lives in the hippie commune on Kapasing. So we know it's not really good.
How can you trust someone that's trying to flex that hard?
He hasn't chinced me once. I scale the product and it's all there. I don't trust his online dispensaries. I don't know if they're just sloppy with their scaling or if they're trying to swindle suckers in mistake for oregano for weed. I ordered an ounce off this website based in DC. They delivered it with coffee beans to mask the dank smell. So it seemed legit. When I went to weigh it, it came up 8 grams shorter. 28 grams in my abs. I was choosing a belief.
So you're saying that we're smoking street weed?
Well, it is and it isn't. Head Top's brother is a bona fide grower. Head Top's just a middleman. Pills and powders are in a completely different ballpark. You don't want to mess around with those. I have to tell you something. I'm speaking right now.
Naya and MJ lock fingers and make a swear.
I promise.
I took cheese and Nancy pissed out.
MJ cannot bring herself to meet Naya's gaze.
What the actual? Why didn't you tell me that? We've told each other everything since the first grade. I know that look. Your face says it all. You are not a burden, and you will never be a burden to me. You know I love you.
I love you too, boo. God only knows where I'd be without you. I need another bowl.
MJ snatches the bong off the table and fills the bowl piece to the brim. She lights it, takes a long pull, finishes the bowl, and sets it back down onto the coffee table. Naya seems perturbed.
Hey, is this your way?
I think I'm starting to feel it.
What's up, sis?
I know it's nothing compared to what you just told me, but
Nothing. Your troubles are my troubles. What's on your mind?
it's Will. I know it's been half a year since we split. Thought it was okay, but I'm letting on.
Oh, baby girl. It's okay. Let it out. I'm here for you.
You know, you're right.
What can I say? You've been my cheerleader since day one.
You know, there's no need to gas me up, but go on.
You were the only person who stood up for me when I first got here. First grade, and I barely spoke a lick of English back then. Those bullies, those vile path of living, my dad bought me courtside Raptors tickets, privileged little fucks. They said the chicken adobo I had for lunch was stinky. I didn't even know the word for lunch other than bone. I can still hear them taunting me. Phew me, Mary Jane's lunch smells like poo.
I swear I could have roundhouse kicked them into the next dimension.
And you marched right up to the little shit who started it all, and you said, at least her mom loves her enough to make her something tasty for lunch. All you have is a slice of ham sandwich and 2 pieces of stale Wonder Bread. Oh, and that cherry Kool-Aid, that's mine now. That was a power.
Oh, shucks. You're making me blush.
A little bastard didn't dare try anything after that again, after you caged the fast girl again. As I said, you've been here for me since day one. I know just the thing that only felt his head back in your step.
MJ retrieves Naya's iPhone from the coffee table. MJ hands Naya's phone to her as if asking her to unlock it. Without hesitation, she swiftly punches in her passcode and hands it back.
You've got to get under someone to get over it, alright? So, I downloaded Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge.
Are you sure that it'll help? What if I end up sleeping with a guy and all I can think about is Will? What if they...
MJ wiggles her eyebrows at Naya.
Yeah, fuck it. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Huh? Huh? That's how it goes. If they hug it, let them know. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Ooh, Bumble, I love that for you. Now let's build your profile. Oh, this is cute. It's giving big lolly in the streets, semping in the streets energy. Let's use that. Ooh, your booty's looking thicker than a Snicker in this one. We all need a good thirst trap in our lives. And we're good to go.
You think so?
She not convinced.
Naya shakes her head no.
No problem. I'll get you started. Look, they even show you their zodiac signs so you can weed out the guys you're not compatible with. So, no Capricorns or Cancers for you. Since you're Libra, no. Maybe. Yeah, no. Ooh, this dude looks like a young, sexy Justin Trudeau.
You mean Canada Daddy? Let me at it.
Whoa there, Tiger, easy.
Naya swipes right and left on her phone at a fervent pace. Her eyes stay glued to the screen.
Hi, Mary Jane. Halika Dito. Halika Dito. Ditto. Coming, Mom.
Camila, interior, MJ's living room. Cora, dressed in her pajamas, sits on the couch, a remote in one hand and a bag of pork rinds in the other. The voice of a woman emanates from the TV. Sinoka? Sinoka?
Why do you watch this crap? It's cheap melodrama. You'll rot your brain out. Do you know who's with Mom?
Oh, is it Mom Cora? Sorry. Like your drugs? Like you do with your drugs? If you can't kick the habit, don't even think about going back to the Philippines. One of Duerte's goons will put a hit on you and you'll end up wrapped in a garbage bag on the side of EDSA Highway. I didn't board a plane to Canada 6 months pregnant with your sister for you to waste your life away.
What do you want?
Interrupted by a loud crash in the kitchen.
Hey, Nako. Tang ina yung peace. Oh my god, those damn cockroaches.
Jose enters with a flip-flop in one hand, raised and ready to strike again.
Ha!
Do you really have to act like that, Dad?
Suma Riosa, Jose.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Those damn cockroaches, how can you stand them?
Live and let live, Dad. If they can survive a nuclear apocalypse, what makes you think you can get rid of them with your tincelas?
One by one. They'll tell their friends, I'll scare them too.
That's why there are so many cockroaches in this house. How many times do I have to tell you not to leave all that junk food lying around? You and your stupid lazy ass, you're so hard-headed.
Psychosis wags a finger at MJ.
Maybe try not be such a bitch for once.
Cora slaps MJ across the cheek. MJ feels it sting, her face growing hot. MJ places a hand over the spot where the slap landed.
Sinoka? Huh? Sinoka?
Who do you think you are, huh? Who do you think you are?
Cora raises her hand as if to strike again, as does Psychosis. MJ flinches with fear. Though before Cora is able to, Jose steps in between them.
Why would you do that? She's her daughter.
Hindi, anak Mosiah.
She's no daughter of mine.
Cora grabs the bag of chicharron, and storms off stage right. Psychosis remains and hovers over a slumped-over, crying MJ. Jose kneels beside MJ and places his hand over her shoulder affectionately.
Nah. You know how your mom is. I cannot change her. I'm not saying that what she did was right, but what you said wasn't right either.
It doesn't matter, Dad. Nothing matters.
MJ storms off. Psychosis flashes a coy smile and curls her fingers in a wave to Jose. Jose does not acknowledge or see Psychosis, as she is a physical manifestation of MJ's psyche. Psychosis exits, trailing behind MJ. Baby's first manic episode. Interior, MJ's living room. Sorry. We're just in the MJ's living room. MJ opens the door and loudly slams it shut. She walks into the living room and sits on the couch. She reaches the remote to turn on the TV. All it emits is static, much to her chagrin. A cockroach scuttles across her peripheral vision. Reaching for a flip-flop, she prepares to strike. Suddenly, Psychosis appears on the TV screen. The picture is grainy and has the feel of a hostage video.
Call me the Terminator because I'm back, bitch. Let's take a peek at what you've been up to, shall we?
The TV screen cuts to several scenes in which MJ's manic episode affects her actions. The first, MJ sits on the kitchen floor making dozens of ham and cheese sandwiches. The second, MJ faces a mural with spray paint. The third, MJ falls prey to a pyramid scheme and tries to rope her friends into it. Fourth, MJ with boxes stacked high up in her room from her online shopping spree financed by a credit card that she knows she doesn't have the money to cover the costs of. 5. MJ perched atop a sink in a club bathroom getting railed by a stranger she just met. 6. MJ driving a car way above the speed limit. 7. MJ accidentally leaves her bag on the subway. Each snippet is punctuated by a loud smack of a flip-flop exterminating the roaches. The scenes on the TV loop and cycle through faster and faster while MJ increases her kill count. MJ's phone rings 3 times and goes to voicemail.
Hey boo, I'm about to reach a base. I'll be there in 5. I've got a half-smoked roach with your name on it.
MJ has a wild and frenzied look in her eyes. Psychosis stands on top of the coffee table and looks down on MJ. Naya opens the front door. She doesn't acknowledge Psychosis. Her eyes are drawn to the TV screen.
Mary Jane, you know I love you, and that's why I need to tell you this. The way you've been acting recently isn't cute. You're a grown-ass woman. You can't get away with shitty behavior anymore.
I can't right now. Gotta squash.
Hey, MJ. Are you good?
Reverb on Are You Good? Spotlight on MJ leading Naya is obscured in the darkness. Psychosis is towering over MJ.
Let it consume you, swallow you whole, medicate you, and spit you out.
MJ is neck deep in cockroaches at this point. They're coming at her from all angles, much like zombies in an apocalyptic movie. She could no longer stave them off. She screams. In hospital room. Cold, sterile hospital lighting floods the room. It emits a faint whirring sound. MJ sits cross-legged on her bed.
Mary Jane, it's Dr. Quartz again. May I come in?
Sure. Hey, Todd, what did you give me?
A low dose of ketiapine, 50 milligrams. I see you responding quite well to it. Your words are a bit easier to understand now.
What was I doing? What was I saying? I can't remember.
Well, you were pacing about this room using your sock to squish something. I'm not sure what exactly, but you seem to be heavily invested in your cause.
I don't remember doing that. Why don't I remember that?
Well, there are a couple of reasons for that, but first, let's talk about your medical history.
Sure.
Your chart states that in 2017 you were hospitalized for the first time in the youth psychiatric ward at North York General. Prior to that, you were diagnosed with general anxiety and major depressive disorder, yes?
Yes, sir.
However, during your stay there, those diagnoses were reassessed by your attending physician, correct?
Correct.
The major depressive diagnosis stayed the same, but generalized anxiety was changed to post-traumatic stress disorder. Could you tell me the reason for that change?
I'd rather not get into that right now, Doc.
Oh, that's fine by me. That said, do you think it'll help me understand your situation a little better? Okay, moving on then. Your chart says that you've been on Prozac, Lexapro, Cipralex, Abilify, Palex, and
So
Zoloft.
basically, every antidepressant known to man.
Well, if you want to put it that way.
No matter which drug my psychiatrist put me on, I was still depressed and I still wanted to off myself, so I thought I'd give it a try. Weed, anything normal, stable, in your terms, I guess. Numb to all the bad feelings, helped me learn how to forget. Gave me an appetite when I looked at food and was physically repulsed at the sight of it for once in my miserable fucking life. It gave me hope.
Well, Mary Jane, cannabis can actually trigger mania and psychosis. Yes, it can be used on a therapeutic level by patients undergoing chemotherapy, not with your diagnosis.
What are you trying to say, doctor?
What I'm trying to say, Mary Jane, is that I highly suspect that what you have is not major depressive disorder, but rather bipolar disorder.
So like ADD? I have a friend that has ADD and she...
That's different from bipolar disorder, but you have that too.
What do you mean?
Borderline personality disorder, your PTSD diagnosis still stands.
Are you kidding me? 3 fucking mental disorders? I'm gonna be here forever, aren't I?
That's not true.
So you're just fucking with me by saying that I have all 3 of those?
That's not the part that's not true.
What do you mean then?
I mean that you won't be here forever. You're here so that we can help stabilize you, address your symptoms during our one-on-one sessions, and help you manage those during our group therapy sessions. Get you on the right medication to prevent another manic episode so that you won't have to be hospitalized for another one in the future.
So that means I still have PTSD, BPD, and bipolar?
Fortunately, yes.
A hat trick. I'm giving the Maple Leafs a run for their money. The universe really said, fuck you, Mary Jane, didn't she?
The bell goes off over the intercom.
Sounds like it's dinner time. Get some food in your system. Go. Your next dosage for Sequirol shouldn't take more. You shouldn't be taken on an empty stomach. Take this as an opportunity to meet the other patients as a board. Maybe you'll make a friend or two. We can talk about your diagnosis in detail tomorrow.
Dr. Quartz exits the room. MJ sees a line of cockroaches scuttling towards the door. Her eyes follow them. The end.
Okay, great. Again, that was Mikaela Cordero, token Asian. We will move on to the next one, Atinc Goc. Hoax. Mystery crime neo-noir. A young photographer who wants to get a job in Toronto meets a mentor who leads an unusual and unethical way that causes controversy and troubles. And Atinc, if you want to stand up, this is the writer here for next week.
Subway day. We see a person who is around 25 to 28 years old. He is skinny, tall, has black hair and black eyes. He wears a white shirt and black pants. He sits in the subway, looks tired, he has a camera and a weird briefcase next to him. His name is Bayard, but everyone calls him VR. VR is talking on the phone. We start to see him in the middle of this conversation.
I am on my way to the hotel. Yeah, it was okay, but they told me they're looking for some other qualities. No, maybe there's something I can change my applications, or maybe my approach in general. Ask Sam if he has any friends that can help me find more references. Yeah, this was the last interview. I did apply for more. No, I don't think about it yet.
There's an older man who looks like 35 to 40 years old who starts to look and hear this conversation. He wears casual clothes, a t-shirt, pants, and a hat. There are 2 seats between them. VR looks at the window while he continues on his phone conversation, and he hasn't realized this person yet.
Yes, he told me there was a job there, but it's not a place to work for people like me. The slightest idea of working in their store disgusts me. Don't you think I'm a little bit overqualified to be a deli clerk? Why didn't you go to college? Everybody needs opportunities. Just let me find mine. Just give me time. Please understand that, Mom. And Mom, I will be short for this whole thing. It's alright. Bye.
A stranger, Jack D, leans towards VR after the phone conversation is finished.
Hey, couldn't help overhearing your conversation. I always admire artists, especially photographers yourself. Do you mind?
Points to the seat next to VR, listen closer.
Do you have a certain style, or how do you define what you do? Is it like a natural bird animal type of pictures?
Not really. Nature is fascinating, but doesn't amaze me in like a professional aspect. I always thought art carries a responsibility to show what is real and what is happening around us. I'm somewhere between a journalist and an artist.
Wow, interesting. But doesn't it make you exhausted to pursue stories and news? I mean, I guess there are moral thinking involved. But let's say how you heard about a great story, and you just run there to take pictures before anyone else. Nobody saw it before you, and that makes you the one to tell them, right? How do you decide which side you're going to be on? If there's an accident, you specify who that victim is and who's guilty without any idea other than what you see. So how can someone be so sure where to draw the lines? Who to label, where to lead?
Instincts, I guess, than evidences. I always look for...
Hey, let me tell you something before you answer. I heard you were having difficulties. Yeah, I remember a guy. He was a friend of mine. I don't remember his name, but I never forget the song he used to play. He was a country boy. No proper education, no money, no support from parents. God knows if he could read or write. Not quite a decent resume, you could say. He used to sit beneath the trees by the railroad track. My father, he was an engineer, and saw him one day. When he came home, I thought he saw Jesus on his way home. Oh, boy, you know, he could play his guitar like ringing a bell. And years later, he became the front man of a big rock band. So you remind me of him. Determined, passionate, talented. You just need a push. I'm Jack, by the way.
Bear, call me BR.
They shake hands, a deal made. Street daytime. Jack and BR walk on a street. BR has his camera hanging around his neck and holds a notebook and pen in his hands. Jack is looking around to find something.
I think we can say Robert dropped his hat here. It's about a 5-minute walk from the bank. It should be dark at night because there's no light at all. A car was parked in this street and he was running, so he didn't notice he dropped something, or he didn't have time to pick it up.
Makes sense. How do you want me to put the hat in which one?
BR pulls out and shows different types of baseball caps that he brought from his home. Some of them are older or used, and some of them are new, cleaner than the others. Jack points out the used Blue Jays cap.
Use the blue one. Step on it with your shoes. Make it look older and dirtier. We'll need a tire track at the corner. I'll get the car. Take a few more pictures from the back street and the hat.
Got it.
Street, moments later. They shoot the photos of the first crime scene they staged. They created a fake robbery scene near the bank. They want to show that there is a robber that steals from the people who get their money from the ATM location. He is scary, tough, and quick. But this time he saw something. He needed to run away, and his hat fell to the ground when he was going to his car. Then he rode his car so fast that he left a tire track behind. Now they are walking back to their car. BR seems stressed because he has doubts about the situation.
Is it legal, Jack? I mean, can we do this or should we?
Come here, I'll show you something. Then you tell me what you think. If you want to go home, we go back.
Jack takes his keychains out of his pocket. One of them has the key for the apartment. The other one has the car keys. He holds each keychain in front. He holds each key in each hand.
Oh man, what is that? What are you doing?
So I have 2 keychains in my hand. Which one do you like the most?
What is the point, Jack? Are you kidding me?
Just tell me. Just tell me.
Right one.
Which one do you want to get?
The same one.
Jack gives BR the keychain that BR didn't choose.
I didn't choose this. It was the other one that you have in your right hand.
Yeah, I know. That's the point. We can keep doing this all day, but I will keep it short. It was a silly thing I remember from a long time ago. At a certain point, you learn that I always give the opposite of what you want, and you'll start to give me a different answer to get whatever you want. We learn this behavior, and we're just little kids. Humans manipulate everything. And we are just the men. We're just men who want to get the keychain we want. Photographers used to do this all the time. World War I, World War II, name any war. Your colleagues were there, using actors to capture the battlefields, the soldiers' deaths. Leon Gimple did that. Roger Fenton did it. What do people call them today? Heroes. Tell me one reason why people wouldn't call you a hero. These people knew knew that reality was uncertainty. They could shape it. Knowing simple things like this may be the opportunity of your life.
Park, later. Later that day, they went to different places to create many different pictures and stories. Then they came back to a park to create more.
Are we looking for a specific tree? I see a white oak over there, or could we set it around the picnic table?
No. If it was really happening, someone would see or hear the guy. We must think different. How do we get ahead of crime if we don't know how a criminal thinks? So, we have to ask the question ourselves. The question is, not only why did it happen, but why did it happen this way?
Okay, let me try again. So, I like this one to be a group case. These guys kill someone, then bring the poor guy here to bury. Because they are a bunch of amateurs, prepared amateurs. They had a shovel, and 2 of them started digging. The other two went back to the car to get the dead body and carry it into the woods.
Yes! I like where this goes. They heard something, or they think they heard something. They got scared and panicked. They shouted to their friends, and they all left in a hurry.
They leave the shovel next to the pile of soil they dug.
So, 3 photos. First one shovel, second one pole, third is the blood drops on a piece of fabric. This is fun! Hey, you want to use ketchup or what? Bring me one of your extra strips.
We see a series of photos that Jake and BR staged. Robberies similar to the first scene they created. They went to a few more locations and created scenes. Their goal is to make people believe that these robbers can be anywhere, anytime. They even draw graffiti on a wall that says, "This is our town," as it was written by the robbers, and took a picture of it. For another fake scene, they brought a piece of glass and broke it with a hammer in a parking lot. They took pictures of the hammer and the broken glass. They also turned on their own alarm so they can give witnesses who heard the noise of the car hijacking. For faking a kidnap news, they searched for missing persons listed and found persons lists and found information such as the t-shirts, shoes, or jewelry these people were wearing the day they went missing. BR brought similar items from home, and they took pictures in places that are close to the last seen locations of these people. They used names of 3 people. Apartment, night.
North York Strangler, bank robbers in Vaughan, increase in private property trespassing, car hijacking, what else? I'm sending all of them to newspapers and I will share it on social media. Do you think we should use our real names?
Don't mention our names until we start to get offers. We can't take the mystery out of it.
What if we don't get any offers?
See, where there is mystery, it is always suspected there must also be evil. It will feed the fear that grows inside them until it won't be enough. Their sleep will get shorter, they'll get scared to go out to the bank alone. It'll become an obsession. They won't be thinking about anything else. That's where we come in with answers as an actual source, like a hero. But we just call him a monster we create. Everyone has to feel it's still there inside their mind, dying to get out.
While Jack talks to BR, he looks to the computer, writing the last sentences of the emails, and checks them before sending them to newspapers and blogs with no name. Then close up as he presses enter and fades black. Apartment, morning. It has been a few weeks, maybe months after they started doing fake photography. They get paid, still don't use their names. Pictures get serious attention of the public. Websites and newspapers start to write about their stories, and they even extend the stories. They even get extended the stories in their way. We see BR looking into his laptop, checking the websites of newspapers, and in every website he sees the picture he took. After viewing a few more, he opens a new tab and checks his bank account. We see he has thousands of dollars in his account. Pictures and stories also get police officers' attention, and investigations are in progress. That morning, BR gets a call.
Hello?
Hi, is this Bayard Roberts?
Who is this? Why are you calling me?
This is Police Officer Gordon. You have to come down to the station. Your fingerprints are found in a crime scene. We'll see if it matches with the shirt that the victim was wearing.
Did you just say victim?
BR is terrified and he starts to shake. Visuals get blurry and sounds become inaudible. His heartbeat gets faster and faster, his chest hurts, his eyes get darker. He is having a panic attack. Later, Jack's building. BR runs upstairs to the floor where Jack lives. He tries to catch his breath. He wears the same clothes we see him in the morning. He knocks on the door, no answer, knocks again, harder.
Ruined man. Nightmare. I can't fucking wake up. Oh, sorry. Open that door, Jack. I know you're in there. We're in trouble. Open the door.
He knocks again, 3 times while shouting with a shaky voice. He still tries to catch his breath.
Open the damn door.
We see Jack's apartment. Jack is not there. There is no one visible in this part of the apartment we see. BR still makes noise outside. He continues to shout. He has difficulty saying things, finishing sentences. He just says what comes to his mind. He is panicked and afraid.
I'm a ruined man. Okay, nightmare. I can't fucking wake up. Open that door. My life is ruined. Police called. How can I? Open up, man. My mother will kill me. Come on, where are you?
He starts to cry and kicks, punches the door, harder and louder. Then he throws his camera at the door. The camera is broken.
I'm gonna come back for you. I did everything you told me to, and this is what happens? You ruined me.
While he was saying his last few sentences, we again see the inside of the apartment. His voice is fading as he walks away. We see Jack coming from his door. He looks calm, unemotional, cold-blooded. There is a sinful smile on his face. He opens the door, takes a picture of the broken camera and a few pictures of the damaged part of his door. His camera prints these photos right away. He walks back to his apartment, sits at a table. There are dozens of pictures and documents on the table. These pictures are similar to the faked photos. Some were seen before, some are new. Somehow, there are actual crime photos. These crime photos were taken in the same locations as the faked photos were taken. There are real murders, robberies, crime scenes with blood and bodies. There are also photos of BR as he walks, sits, looks around in these locations. He starts to pull out all these documents and photos into a folder. Only the photos of the broken camera and damaged door is not in the folder. Then he picks up his pen, and writes the last paragraph of the letter he has on that table.
As it is mentioned above and supported by these evidences, I, Jack L. David, have been following this suspect for the last few months. I took photos of the crime scenes. Some of the photos captured him visiting these crime scenes, but I wasn't aware that he was the criminal until today. He identified my name, my address, and came to my home to kill me. I'm lucky to be alive. I want justice for all the people he hurt and scared. I present these documents to the police department. Jack L. David.
He puts the last photos and the letter into the folder and walks out of his apartment. As the door closes, the camera fades to black. The end.
How's everyone doing for temperature? Do we want to take a little cool down, or can we go to the next script?
A little bit cold, please.
Yeah, okay, let's take a little 5-minute walk out and get cooled down, and then we'll move on to the next script. Yeah, I just know it's hot, so. So we'll be back in 5 minutes, thank you. Yes, if you guys, I figured that would be the time to yeah, if you see me want to narrate, I just realized I didn't give you a lot of stuff, so as long as you're okay. Okay, yeah, is everything okay? Has the structure? Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Dear Lord.
Oh, right.
Oh, don't love it. So yours was the one about the newscaster that was great.
I didn't realize that was
It's really good.
Thank you.
That was funny.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Oh, we're all narrating.
So are you doing a lot of writing?
No, I just do it as a hobby.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm in
I
school
know.
still, but not for writing.
Oh, you're not in school for writing? What are you in school?
Biomedical.
I know for the one
Gosh, that's like totally the opposite.
I just do writing as a hobby.
Oh, that's good.
I had a chance to program it.
Oh, that's good. Anyway, doing
Thank you. There's another light here.
Are you narrating that?
I'm narrating, and then it plays. Someone.
Yeah, right, it's
Are
like.
you doing
Yeah.
I guess swap.
Yeah, let's say Alex.
Blessing, you got it?
I got it, yeah.
Oh, you know. Yeah, my parents are from India. They're from Bombay, or Mumbai.
How about you?
I'm Toronto. I'm Canadian. So my dad's technically my dad's from Bombay, Mumbai,
Really great.
and my mom's from Gujarat.
Yeah, and it's like the only one.
She's from Cambridge.
Oh, I actually can tell my
On the west coast.
So I'm like,
really?
2 seconds later.
No, I just know where Cambridge is, and I know the distance from Ahmedabad. Yeah, it's more internal. It's a major city. Yes, I have. Last time, multiple times, like as I got older. Actually, I'm going there again in January for a wedding. No, not mine. No, my cousin, my little cousin. Well, she's not this one. Thank you. I'm an actor.
It's great because then you have a boss
I've been in Star Trek, The Expanse. been on, the most recent one I did was Umbrella Academy on Netflix. I just did an episode in that. What else?
Yeah, so you leave it.
I did a couple of cartoons and stuff, so, yeah.
Oh, is it not?
Like, usually, oh, okay.
Oh, thank you.
The lady was on I'm like, I didn't, it's like, she was clean.
I know, that's the whole reason I'm doing well, is acting across the room.
All of us, everyone's just doing so great.
Alex?
Oh, really?
The way they talk, yeah. Always a
It's good casting.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you.
Must be tiring.
No, it's
It's
great.
fun.
It's super fun. It's like great to meet all these people. It's
And
great.
I heard that you guys don't do this before. I should.
Yeah,
We got it late last
We
night.
got it like last night.
Because
So.
I would last. People like me.
Yeah.
99% of the world
Yeah.
is scared of making speeches.
Yeah, yeah.
You're the 1%.
Yeah, I know you get used to it.
Yeah, it helps that we're not like, you know.
Yeah.
We do have to.
Yeah, you had to like act it out. I think it'd be even.
But the 99% like me, I have a do speeches for my company.
Oh, yeah.
And I will memorize it 50 times.
Yeah.
Go in front of a mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it can be nerve wracking even for
Oh.
me. Like, even
Oh, yeah.
By the way, my
It's
grandmother
such
was
a nice
sweating.
balance of like comedy and like
Yeah?
She was sweating.
my
That's
brain
why.
all of a
So
sudden.
nervous?
Oh, now he's like, wow.
I think it went really well. I
And
really
then I'm
enjoyed
like,
it.
you
oh,
guys
that's a funny look to know.
Oh, she wrote it.
Yeah.
What's time for yours?
But that's not nerve
You
wracking,
plan for
right?
yours too.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be nerve wracking for her to see it.
Listen to it.
Yeah. It's so good.
Take
There is
care.
an animation series. It's,
Enjoy India.
I will. I will.
I'm jealous. I'm waiting. I'll probably go next
Okay.
summer.
Yeah.
What do you need?
Okay.
I used to
Alright.
Instagram.
It'll be rainy in the summer.
My
right?
data is not
What do you mean,
great, so
monsoon
type it in,
season?
I'll screenshot
That's
it.
why I go.
Oh, really?
It's cool.
Ah, okay. Hopefully it's cool in January.
Yeah, unless it floods and then.
Yeah.
Samsung keyboard. Sorry. Yeah, I actually played because it was adapted from a play, and so I'm like.
I was gonna say, because there's that line where they're like, it's favorite.
No, I was like,
ah.
no, it's okay. Okay, I really have to take it out of the strap.
Do you?
Right, like, alright, a lot more. Yeah, I'm worried about I've only
Yeah, 2.5, right? That's my dog, yeah. I know. The greatest thing I've ever received in my life. Up there, I know.
Oh, yeah,
So if everyone's,
There's like a kid that's like giving out Christmas
Oh, what's your life?
Oh.
Lights, yeah, lights. They're actually the most inefficient tool They actually,
And they smell.
She's so mad. Someone's over
That is from all official days. And so that was which is only one actually
okay. That'll help.
I called her on her birthday. Apparently I was the fourth person called. Hello, it's your voice. I'm like, girl. She's over it. She's over her birthday. Because the entire month she's telling me. I asked her people's names to see her answer. What kind of people are there? What do you want as a present? Mario's house. Yeah, the good thing about it is she puts the toy away, and then she brings it back and later. So it's like brand new. It's a memory. That is so yeah. Oh yeah, so yeah, what was saying? Yeah. So I was saying she's mad. She just puts the word back. No, you look back.
Ben durmam mümkün değil.
Okay, so,
Yeah, so we're other orders for yourselves.
yeah, that's perfect. Okay, great. That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great, awesome.
Should we start from there or here?
Derelict, yeah. Oh no, derelict. So derelict is Zoolander.
I was gonna say.
Kaz, as soon as we say derelict is like Zoolander.
I know, I was like, is it
Yeah.
Can you give us your best,
I was like,
Oh, this is like- Again,
Derelict.
You try to hold it, should I try this?
Oh, wow.
So derelict is actually
Oh, thank you. I was literally just.
Yeah, I was like,
When I was writing playwright class, I become a play. My classmates really.
Okay, everybody, let's get started and then we can get cooled down. There's like 4 scripts left, so yeah.
You do creative writing full time.
Oh yeah, I'm a theater major, production design, but I did like playwriting.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, yeah, we'll have another break after 2 scripts, just because it's yeah, and then there's only 4 scripts, so we'll have a break and then 2 scripts. Okay.
I'm here.
Yeah, I would like to.
I'm usually a lecturer.
Oh.
Sorry, are we gonna do just like, each page or each scene?
Okay. So again, thank you everyone. I know it's hot. So we'll do 2 scripts, take another break, and then we have 2 more scripts. So just to let everyone cool down. So our next script is by Kas Kalami. If you want to stand up. Kas is working in film right now, and this drama has no dialogue. So it's just all images, so feel free to close your eyes and imagine what's happening. But yeah, so we'll get started. And this is Derelict. A young man embarks on a dangerous sea journey, leaving behind his home and family for a brighter future, while others watch his endeavors through a veil. And once again, Kas Kalami.
Interior house, night. A steaming dish of chicken sits on the kitchen table. A pair of female hands pick it up. Carrying the food, the mother, in her 50s, with a kind motherly face, walks graciously towards the dining table. The family is talking and laughing while taking their seats. The mother puts the chicken in the center of the table beside an oval dish filled with steaming rice. Different types of food are on the table, humble but plenty, fit for a special occasion.
Internal room night. The young man, mid-20s, is looking at a standing mirror while starting to button up his shirt. He sees several bruises on his body in his reflection. From the opposite angle, you see his body has no such marks.
Internal room night. The young man joins his family, smiling at them. He gets his dish filled with rice by his mother and smiles. Other members of his family sitting at the table are father in his 50s, sister 18, and brother 12, grandmother and grandmother in their 70s. They talk, eat, and laugh. It's a lovely meal, and they're enjoying each other's company.
Interior house later. The teapot is in the middle of the table. Empty and half-empty cups of tea are in front of each family member. The young man puts his cup down and looks at his watch, raises his head as he looks at others with an anxious look. Everyone looks solemn. There's a small suitcase and backpack sitting beside the door. The son takes a look at the suitcase and looks back at the family. The father gets up. The rest follow. The grandmother is standing beside the grandfather with tears in her eyes. The young man hugs his mother and she bursts into tears. The sister joins in. He kneels and hugs the little brother, wiping the tear off his face. The brother hands him a printed family photograph. He takes it and puts it in his pocket. The father puts his hand on the son's shoulder. The son pulls the father in for one last embrace. He opens the door and leaves into the darkness.
Exterior, shore, dawn. Not a soul in sight on the shore. Suitcase in one hand and backpack on his back, the young man walks towards a small boat. There are already 3 people on the boat. He looks at the passengers as he walks towards them. A young mother in her early 20s sits with her child, around 6. The ferryman in his late 40s looks at him impatiently and beckons him to join them. He gets on the boat. The ferryman asks him to leave the suitcase behind. There's simply no space.
External shore, moments later. The boat has taken off. The suitcase is left on the shore, open.
Exterior sea, day. The passengers are cold, covering themselves with blankets. The boat is in the middle of the sea. The ferryman stops the boat. He asks them to hand him money. The young mother holds her child tightly and looks at the young man. The young man refuses to pay and points to the distance ahead, suggesting he'll make the payment when they reach safely. The 2 men start arguing. It turns violent. The young mother is frightened. Her child starts crying. The ferryman reaches in the young man's coat to take out some cash. With the cash comes a family photograph. It all falls down. Infuriated, the young man pushes the ferryman. He gets pushed back harder. He loses his balance and trips, hitting his head hard on the side of the boat and falling in the water. He instantly goes down. Faint traces of blood mixing with water remain on the surface. The child cries louder and the young mother cries with him. The ferryman looks blankly at the water, puzzled. He snaps out of it. He reaches on the side of the boat, looking for any sign of movement. There is none. He looks at the young mother. She's frightened and shocked. Tears trail down her face. Silence. He reaches for the engine and starts it. The boat drifts away.
The young man slowly goes down underwater in the vastness of the ocean, a trail of blood from his head bloomed, going up as it mixes with water, like ink in water.
Interior house, night. A sugar cube drops in a glass of tea, slowly dissolving. The family is sitting at the table. All the members are seated, drinking their tea. The young man's seat is empty.
Text appears, inspired by a true story.
Interior, cinema, continuous. The camera moves back and reveals the text is being displayed on a cinema screen. The next text on the screen is a title card, The Meal. The camera turns to reveal the audience watching the film. A man, well dressed in his 50s, is one of the crowd. He looks at two of his companions, a male and a female on his left and right, who are roughly the same age and also well dressed. Their faces show admiration for the film they just watched. They stand with the rest of the audience in standing ovation for the film.
Interior office day. In an office building, there is a door with a plaque saying Senior Immigration Officer. Inside the office sits the man from the cinema hall. He's lost in his work with a large pile of documents on his desk. He takes out the next file in line for him to assess. The document belongs to a young male refugee, pending his approval. The picture attached to the file is not too dissimilar to the looks of the protagonist of the film he watched the night before. He looks through the document carefully. He struggles to reach a verdict. He puts the file away and takes a moment, runs his hand over his forehead, sighs, who knows what he should do. He takes out a stamp and stamps the paper. The stamp reads, rejected. Cut to black. Title card, derelict.
Wonderful. Okay. Very atmospheric. I can see that. It's a great job, Cass. And once again, Cass. Okay, next we have Malka Mashkovits, who is, right there. There you are. If you want to stand up. So Malka's script is called One Girl, Coming of Age Tragedy. Atlas Norley has the strongest support system in the world, her best friend Emily and her loving girlfriend Liz. But when the COVID-19 pandemic strikes, her support system is torn apart.
Bedroom, morning. Atlas rolls over and sees Liz. Atlas kisses Liz's forehead.
Hi.
Liz opens her eyes and smiles.
Hi.
Begin montage. Liz's childhood bedroom, years earlier. Young Atlas, young Emily, and young Liz are sitting on the bed laughing. Cut to an abandoned highway. Day. Atlas and Liz are standing near a tree awkwardly.
I have to tell you something.
Liz looks nervous. Liz takes Atlas's face in her hands and kisses her softly. Living room, night. Atlas and Liz are curled up on the couch watching a movie. They both reach for popcorn at the same time and their hands touch. Atlas takes Liz's hand and Liz lays her head on Atlas's shoulder. Outdoor venue, stage, night. The principal is standing on stage. She hands Atlas her diploma. Atlas runs off stage into Liz's arms and kisses her. Atlas pulls it away after a moment and she hugs Emily. End of montage. Bedroom, morning. Atlas is lying in bed like in the first scene. This time, Liz's spot is empty. Atlas looks sad. University campus day. Atlas gets out of her car and locks it. She walks with her head down, shy and withdrawn. The front entrance of the school. As she approaches the front, she sees a heavy police presence. Flashback sequence, park, day. Police dressed in riot gear are standing in front of Atlas, Liz, and Emily. The police scream something and the girls scream something back. Screaming is heard as tear gas canisters are thrown. Canister hits Liz on the head and she collapses.
Liz.
Emily runs over. Atlas, is she okay?
We have to bring her. I don't know.
We have to bring her to the hospital.
Emily.
Atlas looks between Liz and Emily, unsure of what to do. Hospital, day. Atlas arrives and sees Liz. She runs into Liz's arms.
Liz, I'm so glad you're okay. I'm so scared.
Atlas notices Emily's absence.
Where's Em?
Liz looks at Atlas with a sad look in her eyes. Montage. Playground, day, years earlier. Young Liz, young Atlas, and young Emily are running around the playground playing tag. They're laughing. Cafeteria, day. Emily, Atlas, and Liz are sitting at a table. They're laughing about something. Emily's bedroom, day. Emily and Atlas are sitting on the bed.
I think Liz might like it too.
Atlas looks at Emily, happily surprised. Emily's front entryway, night. Emily answers the door, and Atlas and Liz are standing there holding hands. Emily gets super excited and hugs them. Field, day. Emily, Atlas, and Liz are sitting on the grass. Atlas and Liz kiss, and Emily makes a disgusted look. Liz glares at her and jokingly tackles her. They all lay on the grass, laughing. End montage. Liz's hallway, day. Atlas walks down the hallway holding snacks.
I need you, Emily.
Atlas stops walking and starts listening.
I need you to wake up. Who's going to officiate our wedding? I bought her a ring.
Atlas looks surprised and peeks into Liz's bedroom. Liz is sitting there holding a ring. She's on a video call with Emily in the hospital.
I'm going to ask her to marry me.
Flashback sequence ends. University campus, day. Atlas looks nervously at the cops. They arrest a student. Atlas walks past them into the school. University lecture hall, day. The room is filled with students chatting with each other.
Okay, everyone. Today we will start our creative writing seminar presentations on the COVID-19 pandemic and how it affected you.
Atlas looks at the giant plaque on the wall. It says, in honor of all the students whose lives were ended much too early by the COVID-19 pandemic. Flashback sequence. Bedroom, day. Liz is sitting on the bed on a video call with Emily holding a ring box.
Liz?
Liz stashes the ring box in the drawer. Atlas walks in and sits down.
Hi, Em. I hope you'll be back here with us soon. We love you so much.
The machine in Emily's room starts beeping.
Em?
Bedroom, morning. Atlas is lying in her bed. Liz walks in and stands at the door.
Atlas?
A beep. Lizzie walks over to the bed and sits down.
I'm so sorry, At. I know how much you loved her. You can't just stay in bed forever. University starts 2 weeks from now. She wouldn't want this. She would want you to stand up and continue.
I didn't get to say goodbye. I didn't even get to see her at the hospital. She died alone. She didn't deserve that. She deserved to grow old and be at our wedding. Be the cool aunt to our children. And now she's gone.
Atlas starts crying. Cemetery, evening. Atlas stands next to Liz as a coffin is lowered into the ground. Abandoned highway, later. Atlas and Liz walk to their spot.
Atlas, I have something important to give you. I know it's a bad time, but I think it might make you feel a little better. I know it's what Emily wants.
Liz, I love you, but I can't do this. You lost Emily, you don't understand how much that hurts.
She wouldn't want us to mourn for her and never move on. She would want us to keep going. She loved our relationship. Our relationship was so important to her. She would want us to continue.
I'm sorry, but I can't. I need her. She was such an important part of our relationship. Without her, we have no relationship.
Atlas walks away. University campus, day. Atlas walks into the university. She doesn't look like herself. She walks with all the grief on her shoulders. University lecture hall, day. All the students are laughing. Atlas sits down without even looking at them.
Hi.
Atlas looks up to see Sky standing there. Atlas looks down again.
Hi.
You look like you're hurting.
Atlas rolls her eyes.
No kidding.
I looked like that for a really long time too.
Atlas doesn't look up.
My wife and I had just gotten pregnant after trying for years, then she got COVID.
Atlas finally looks up.
I saw how you looked at the plaque earlier. What did you lose?
Everyone, my best friend in the whole wide world died, and it tore apart my relationship with my girlfriend Liz. After we lost Emily, my best friend, our best friend, it was never the same.
Flashback sequence ends. Lecture hall, day. Atlas stands at the front of the room shyly.
Grief is a strong thing. I was stuck for a long time. I didn't know what to do without my best friend. Grief tears relationships apart.
Sky gives Atlas a thumbs up. Atlas takes a deep breath.
Well, we don't have to let our grief have power.
Atlas puts down her papers and starts speaking from the heart.
What I really wanted to tell you is what I learned. I lost everything, and I've had to start all over again. I learned that you have to appreciate every moment because it doesn't last forever. All good things come to an end. I did this presentation for Emily, my best friend. I'll love her forever. Grief is strong, but it isn't stronger than love.
Atlas looks up.
Emily, if you're watching, I hope you're proud of me.
Atlas finishes her speech, and there's silence. A beat passes. Sky starts clapping. Everyone else follows her. Atlas looks happy. University campus later. Atlas walks out of the school. People nod and smile at her as she walks confidently, holding her head high.
Hey,
Sky runs up beside Atlas.
that was incredible. I'm so sorry you had to go through all that.
I couldn't have done it without you.
You inspire me, Atlas.
Sky puts her hand on her stomach. There's a small baby bump.
You're incredible. How you keep going. I know Emily would be proud of you.
Sky turns away and starts walking.
Wait,
Atlas runs up to Sky.
maybe I could see you again sometime? Outside of school, I mean. We could get dinner or something.
What are you doing now?
Nothing.
Me too.
Sky and Atlas walk off into the sunset together. Fade to black.
Okay, great. Again, that's Malka's script, One Girl. So when I first met with Malka, I was like, why are you torturing Atlas? But the script's come such a long way. I really love the way it ends now. Okay, so are we okay? We have 2 scripts left. Do we want to take another break to cool down, or how are we feeling? We're making good time, so it's just like if people need another break, or you want to do 2 more scripts and finish. Don't be shy.
Continue.
Sorry?
Continue.
Yeah.
Keep going?
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay, great. So next we have Roshahn Dhore script, Mixed Messages. Unfortunately, he got called into work last minute, but so we'll just do this read because it's a fun script to record it, and then we have the last script. Okay, so Mixed Messages is a drama. A babysitting job takes an unexpected turn when a defiant 11-year-old claims to have made a shocking discovery.
Malik's house, night. Jaden, 19, is playing checkers with Malik, 11, in the living room of an elegant, open-concept main floor. They are sitting at the kitchen island, dead silent for a couple of seconds, and then out of nowhere.
What the fuck?
Watch your mouth.
Wait, one last time, please.
No, that wasn't the deal.
I was distracted because your leg kept shaking.
Don't try that.
Don't
with
try
me.
what?
Every time I come here to try to manipulate.
Oh, manipulate.
Yes, manipulate your way into staying up late.
It's gonna work one day.
It's not. But keep telling yourself that. I admire the perseverance. Anyways.
Jaden points at the hallway.
Bed. Now.
Malik stands up hesitantly.
I miss my old sister.
Well, life isn't fair.
Malik exits into the hallway. Jaden stares at the checkerboard. He gets up and throws the checkerboard and pieces into the original box.
Malik, you come back here for a second. Malik, where does the checkerboard go?
Jaden begins walking toward the hallway, calling Malik's name. Malik storms into the living room area and shouts back.
Malik!
What? What is it?
Where does the checkerboard go?
It's mine. It goes in my room.
Malik abruptly grabs the checkerboard off the table and stares at Jaden.
What's with you today?
Malik's eyes catch a pen and paper on the kitchen counter. He walks over and begins writing on it.
Nothing. I'm fine.
Jaden rolls his eyes, and proceeds to sit on the couch and watch TV. Malik, nervous, stands right in front of Jaden. Before Jaden can react, he reads the piece of paper Malik holds up. It reads, "There's someone in the house." Jaden's eyes quiet. He turns the TV volume up, grabs the pen from Malik's hand, and writes back. "Are you sure? Not your dad?" Malik writes back. "Got a really bad feeling when I went up there. Shadow didn't look like his."
Okay. Fine, you can watch TV for 20 minutes. That's it.
Jaden grabs a small knife from the kitchen. He walks towards the hallway and gestures for Malik to stay put. Cut to the main floor of the hallway. Jaden enters the hallway. He starts carefully walking up the stairs, constantly checking his surroundings. Cut to the upstairs hallway. Once upstairs, Jaden walks hesitantly into the father's bedroom. The lights are on, but no one is there. His posture softens. He confidently does a sweep of the other bedrooms and walks back down. We cut to the living area. Jaden re-enters the living area and finds Malik sitting in front of the TV.
I think you might have just scared yourself. I didn't see anyone upstairs.
Malik looks at Jaden but doesn't speak.
Hello? Did you make all that up just so you could stay awake?
No answer.
Okay, enough. If you don't get up,
Jaden stops dead in his tracks. The intruder has been standing in the corner of the room the entire time. He is tall and dressed in all black. He wears a ski mask, leather gloves, and black backpack slung over his shoulder.
I think, and I told you so in his own order. What do you think, Malik?
Malik doesn't respond.
Well, I already got what I came here for. What's gonna happen next is you guys are gonna empty your pockets. I'm gonna tie you up and then I'm gonna leave. Sound good?
Jaden stares at the intruder. The intruder stares back, walks right up to Jaden's face, and places his bag on the ground.
I said, does that sound good?
I don't know about all that.
Empty your fucking pockets.
Jaden and the intruder don't break eye contact as Jaden begins emptying his pockets and places his phone on the kitchen counter. Meanwhile, Malik quietly picks up a house phone. He presses the number 9 and it beeps, catching the intruder's attention.
Hey,
The intruder bolts over to Malik and Jaden grabs him by the arm. The intruder throws Jaden backwards and his head breaks through the drywall. We jump cut to the hallway. Malik runs to the bathroom and almost seals the door before the intruder barges in. He violently grabs Malik by the hair and throws the phone across the floor, smashing it to pieces.
don't think for a second that I won't snap your fucking neck.
He throws Malik to the ground. Thump! Jaden, now armed with a broom, begins to beat the intruder. A punch connects with Jaden's face as he hits the ground. The intruder on top pummeling him. Jaden manages to throw him off. The intruder scrambles and stands, a gun pointed at Jaden.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Don't stop on my account. Come on! Alright, you're done.
No, 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 please!
The intruder aims at Malik, then at Jaden. Malik runs over to Jaden, who sits up and shields Malik behind him.
The cops are on their way.
We cut to the living area. Jaden's phone is lying on the counter. Malik had dialed 911 and the call hadn't disconnected.
You better leave while you still can.
Back to the hallway, the intruder stares for a few beats. Then, while still pointing the gun at them, runs over to the living area and picks up his bag. He exits at the back door, still aiming. We cut to the backyard. The intruder runs to the side of the backyard facing the next door neighbors. He catches his breath for a